Hello, it's me, KG Chris Gardner of the Houston Round Ball Review. Joining me is Malia Fisher, Rice Owls alum, basketball player, basketball legend for women's basketball. How are you?
I am doing great. I'm happy to be here.
Does it feel strange to hear that you are a Rice Owls alum?
It's definitely strange. I think the hardest part is watching their Instagram as they're going through the workouts and just seeing all the fun that they're having and knowing that I'm not there.
I mean, this is kind of a strange question. I thought about this yesterday. I mean, I know you graduated, but you didn't get a chance to go overseas last month, did you?
Nope, I didn't get the chance to go with them. If we would have won our conference championship, the deal was that she would pay our way to go with them, but we dropped the ball on that one, so we didn't get to go.
All right, well, let's start right there. For those who don't know Malia Fisher and who you are, and shame on you for not covering Rice basketball these last 4 years. Tell everyone a little bit about you. And well, I got a question. I'm not sure if I ever asked you this when you got to Rice as a freshman.
hmm
Why Rice?
I think when I was looking for a school, I wanted best of both worlds, academic and competition. And, Rice was actually my last offer that I got, and it turned out to be exactly what I was looking for. And I loved the institution, I loved the area, and it had everything that I was looking for.
If you don't mind my asking, do you remember who your other, I guess, final five choices were?
I never really narrowed it down to five. I had a top two, and it was between Rice and the University of Colorado Boulder.
Okay. How'd you hear
Mhm.
about Rice being from Georgia, right?
I didn't know a thing about Rice until Coach Langley called me up and started recruiting me I don't even know when she started recruiting me, somewhere around my junior year, I think. But
Wow.
before then, I'd never heard of it.
So junior, that's kind of late. And yet
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
Hmm. So what was anything specific that sold you on Rice?
I mean, apart from just how prestigious the education is, also at the time, they were a powerhouse with the players that they had in Conference USA. They had Nancy Mulkey, Erica Agumake. Um, they were just an absolute great team competing in the NCAA tournament. I mean, it doesn't get much better than that, and having the academic prestige than what Rice was at that time.
Did your mom try to sway you on yay or nay with Rice?
She didn't really have her inputs on on like where I wanted to go. It was mostly my decision, kind of just keeping her in the loop. I think she just wanted me to make that decision for myself and really want me to want for myself and where I wanted to go.
How have you grown, changed, transformed, evolved from your freshman year at Rice to now being a Rice graduate?
I mean, I was a little baby coming in 4 years ago. It doesn't sound like that long ago, but when you go into college, that's an exponential amount of growth from freshman year to sophomore year or senior year. I mean, not only on the court, you could see my game develop through my numbers, through what I was doing, um, but also with the opportunities that I was able to do. I've got the opportunity to study abroad. I've gotten the opportunity to work multiple internships with multiple different companies, and those settings have just propelled who I am as a person and kind of my motivation for what I want for myself that I did not have before coming to Rice.
Where you mentioned it, where have you studied abroad?
I got to study abroad in Costa Rica for about 2.5 months. I was there learning Spanish, studying at the university in Costa Rica. Don't ask me to speak Spanish because I haven't done it since then. Um, but it was a really cool experience and very generous of Coach E to let me and another girl ended up going to study abroad as well to have that opportunity.
How many internships have you had?
Oh gosh, I've had basketball makes it tough, but I've had a bunch of kind of like weekend long internships with probably four different companies. A lot of them are like sports organizations that I've done multiple years in a row, but those are the main ones.
What'd you graduate? What was your major? What's your degree in?
I graduated with a major in psychology and then a minor in business.
Okay, and now I'm going to show her stats. Well, I am when I get it here. Malia Fisher could hoop at Rice. All-time ranks: number 10 in scoring, number 9 in field goals made, number 9 in blocks, number 8 in rebounds. Does any of those four things mean more to you than the others?
Um, Not necessarily. I mean, I think they're all great, but numbers are great, but I don't think any of it is the most important part of, my career. But they're all wonderful numbers.
And congrats to you. What what was, I guess, a difference, the biggest difference between Coach Langley and Coach Edmonds?
Well, I mean, I never got the opportunity to be actually coached by Langley. Most of
Right.
it was just, phone calls, building the relationship. But I mean, honestly would say they have a lot of similarities. I mean, I haven't talked to Coach Langley in 4 or 5 years.
Okay.
Um, but I remember Coach Langley was somebody that I was very close with um, during that time, and she is largely part of the reason why I chose Rice. But just the same as Coach E, I think those are two people like I know you said differences, but like I really don't have any differences for them. I think they're just both two very encouraging, empowering women that I look up to.
When Coach Langley left Rice for Washington and Coach E came in, did Coach E have to do a hard sell on you to get you to stay at Rice?
Not really. I think I chose my school because of academics. I wanted the degree from Rice, regardless of what the basketball looked like. Um, the initial conversation with Coach E, I mean, as a freshman, it was a hard conversation because you're not really, I guess, well trained and having those kinds of conversations at that age. It's not something that I was expecting to happen, but I honestly couldn't have asked for anything better. Um, Coach E has been such a mentor for me, and I honestly wouldn't imagine my career any other way without her.
How has your basketball game evolved? Because now soon enough we're going to get into your big news
Hmm.
that I'm going to ask you to pronounce the protein. I can't even do. But from your freshman year at Rice as a hooper to now, has your game changed? Has it gotten better? Have you improved in certain areas? What do you say?
I think the foundation of my game is still there. Obviously, I've expanded in areas that I was weak in coming in, but shooting, a lot of it starts with confidence, honestly. I came in as a freshman, took maybe three threes the whole year, probably dribbled very little. Um, but you grow. That's what happens. High school, you get stuck in a spot and you kind of stay in that spot. And, you know, Rice's coaching staff, Coach Nick, Coach Danny, Coach Kiwi, they're all great at what they do. Um, and so now, fast forward senior year, you saw me, taking the ball out, you're shooting threes, um, you're being a leader on the floor vocally, statistically, um, and definitely my game has changed a lot since coming in freshman year.
Now, I remember you as a freshman. You weren't much of a talker.
No, no, it wasn't.
So was that becoming more vocal as a senior, as a junior, as a senior? Was that a challenge for you?
It was. I mean, since a freshman, freshman year, I can remember multiple times in practice getting in trouble because I wouldn't talk or stopping a drill and, coach saying, like, can you speak? Can you talk? Like that kind of thing. So that was an adjustment that I had to make. And, they always put an emphasis on me being more vocal. And while I still never fully became a vocal leader, I still found ways to, insert myself. I found that my leadership style was more on the court and more performance based, but, people still need to hear you. And so I kind of made it my, my intention to go to people directly and, be individually vocal, not necessarily group vocal.
Let's talk about that magical run your junior year to get
Yep.
to the NCAA tournament. If I remember right, the team did not go into the conference tournament on a hot streak. Is that right?
No, we were on a 5-game losing streak.
So what changed? What flipped that switch to get you and a team on that roll to win? What was it? Five in a row, or
Mhm. 5 in
to
a
get
row.
5 in a row in 5 days to get
Yep.
to the NCAA tournament. So what was different?
I think our mindset going in, you can kind of go through regular season, know that you're going to have a next game that you can brush off the game before if you play bad. But once you hit tournament time and March comes around, April comes around, you either win or you go home. And I think we just played with a mentality and a chip on our shoulder and knowing that we were capable of more than we were giving at that time. Um, and I think a lot of people underestimated us going into the tournament, and I think that was not great on their part, but very great on our end because I think we definitely used that to our advantage and just, played our hearts out.
Did you and your teammates kind of like have a meeting amongst yourselves to this is it, this is our season's on the line here, anything like that?
Oh yeah, we're a talking team for sure. There's a quote somewhere that is like, bad teams don't communicate at all. Good teams communicate during the game, after the game, but great teams communicate before, during, and after. And I think that's something we really encompassed. We love our communication for sure, um, and I think we all really trust each other and had to buy into that going into that tournament, or we were gonna fold.
Reaching the NCAA tournament, your your first time.
Hmm.
Describe that experience. What was it like?
It
And I
was an
mean,
amazing experience.
before facing LSU, what was it? What was it like? The
Before, so I mean, I remember Selection Sunday. We're all sitting in the big thing, and we knew we were going to be a bottom seed. That wasn't a surprise. So we knew we were going to face a top tier franchise team. We just didn't know who. Um, and for it to be LSU after their coming off their national championship, that was one of the most exciting things, like moments probably that I've ever felt. And it was not there was no fear in anyone's eyes. There was nothing. It was just all excitement of let's just go rock the boat. And I think that's exactly what we did. And then playing there in front of a sold out crowd, little old Rice, never played in front of that many people before. The beginning of the game was an adjustment. You can't hear yourself think. You can't even hear the shoes on the ground. No, nothing. Um, you have to be very locked in, and it was an amazing experience. And I think for us to perform the way that we did, which no one was expecting at all, is even better.
y'all put a scare in LSU.
Yeah,
You remember the final score? What was it?
I have no idea. All I remember is I fouled out, and I'm so mad at myself for
Yeah,
that.
I don't want to bring that up, but yeah, okay.
Yeah.
But I mean, the team put a scare at LSU. I remember the announcing crew with the Rice Owls are giving LSU everything and more, and blah blah blah. And I was like, yeah, this doesn't surprise me because I saw this team play. So yeah,
Hmm.
senior year, high expectations going into the
Right.
season, and then you got injured
Hmm.
in what, October or so, September.
1 week before our first game, so October, I think, like middle of October, I ended up uh, tearing a ligament in my
Mm.
left thumb, and I was out for pretty much the whole non-conference, with the exception of the last few games.
How much of an adjustment was that for you?
It's not what I wanted, but I think it gave me a lot of time to reflect. And I think, honestly, I don't think I wanted to be a pro until that happened to me. And I had to sit out and not have basketball and have to watch everybody else be successful. Um, so obviously I was hurt, but I think honestly our team did great. And I think initially a lot of people were scared, but they took it by the reins. Everybody stepped up to what they knew that they could do, and I think they did a great job during that non-conference season. And when I came back, it just flowed even better.
Now you got injured before the season started. You
Yep.
got injured in the conference tournament.
Yep.
So what happened there? Because I was watching the game
Mhm.
and then I looked away like during a timeout break or something like that. And when I come back, I don't see you on the court. And then I wait for the announcer to say, and I was like, what did I miss? So what happened?
So 2 minutes into the game, I was at the 3 point line guarding Shimmy Puisis. She, rips the ball overhead. Her elbow comes down on my nose. And in that moment, I'm like, because I mean, our scout on her, she's a great shooter. She's a great
Right.
player. And so my job is to just make her job as hard as possible. So I'm just kind of going all out on her, up in her shorts, whatever. And her elbow ended up coming down on my nose and it was broken. But in that moment, I kept playing. I was like, I can't stop. She has the ball. Like, there's no stopping at this point. Um, but the nose was broken at that point. And then, I did a few laps down and back on the court. And I don't think it was so subtle in the fact that I kept playing that no one even really noticed. But in my mind, after I got hit, I did not know what was going on at all. Couldn't tell you what the scout was, couldn't tell you where I was on the court. There was nothing. So I ended up having to call for a sub for myself and take myself out of the game. There was a play before where a girl had scored on me, and so I like put my hand up like take me out of the game, but I think coach thought it was like my bad, and
Mm.
so I wasn't taken out at that point. So finally I just had to make it very clear, and I just yelled across the court like I need to come out of the game. And so she brings in a sub. I go down, sit on the bench. Amy, our athletic trainer, comes down, doesn't even say a word to me. She squats down, looks at my face, and she was like, "Come on." Nothing else was said. No, nothing. It's just come on. So we go, and it all happened so fast that no one really even knew that I left either. So like no one knew that I left. And
Okay.
so we went back to the training room and I ended up having to get a on-site x-ray during the game, and I'm sitting there on the x-ray machine. I'm like bawling my eyes out because I know my nose is broken. Once I looked in the mirror, it's off to the side. I'm like, "Oh my gosh, I'm done." Like whatever. So then the doctor comes in, she reads the x-ray. She's like, "We can't necessarily tell," because she wasn't specialized in noses. She was like, "I can't tell this is broken. It might be." Um, but she was like, "If you want to play, you feel like you can wear a mask and you can go back out there." And Amy was like, "You don't feel obligated to go back out there. Like, you have a broken nose. And I remember telling her, I said, Amy, this is the last game of my college career. You couldn't pay me to sit out on the bench, like whatever it was. So I grabbed the mask, go back out there, and I just told coach I'm good. But I really wasn't. I ended up having a broken nose, fracture in the tip of my nose, and my septum was badly deviated. And then later on, I ended up having a concussion too. One of the worst concussions I've ever had. Ended up out of school for 2 months. It was crazy.
Wow.
I had surgery. Yeah, it was a rough one. And no one ever really knew. But yeah, and I finished the game pretty much. I don't know how I finished that game. It was just mindless playing at that point, trying to, come back.
Wow, Malia, I didn't realize
Yeah, it's a lot.
that much, because when we ran into each other at the airport headed to
Hmm.
Tampa for the women's Final Four, you told me a little bit of that stuff,
Yes.
but I don't think you told me all of that stuff. So,
Yeah, when I
wow.
ran into you, I had gotten my nose cast off the day before, and yeah, I was fresh off of surgery at that point.
And so you went to Tampa, you were an intern there or something. Remind me of that too. What was that?
I got invited to Above the Rim Summit that the NCAA leadership development team put on for a few girls that have aspirations of going pro or just wanting more information on like after career kind of stuff. So it was like a forum thing.
And I mean, apparently that worked out for you, because earlier this week I saw on Instagram.
Hmm.
Honestly, the first person I saw was your mom's Instagram account, and then I saw yours. You have, well, just share the news. You're a pro, playing pro
Yep.
basketball
I
overseas. So
just
just go ahead.
signed my contract with the Rutronik Stars Keltern. That's how you say the name. Um, to go play in First Division Germany, which is the DBBL, and then so we'll play in the German league, but I'll also be playing in Euro Cup, which is like one of the second best league in Europe that you could be in. So super
Congrats again.
excited.
Very impressive. Who helped? I mean, I mean, this is my platform, so
Hmm.
I don't mind. Give some shine to your agent, your representatives. Go ahead. Who helped put it together?
Yeah, so starting the process, I didn't have an agent when
Right.
season ended, but Coach Nick, he helped me. And then he got me a few options, and I ended up signing with Eric Wiesel, who is great at what he does. He has a lot of background, a lot of history in FIBA, in women's basketball. And so we had one phone call pretty much, and I told Nick, I was like, he fits with me. I want to sign with him, and ended up signing with him. And I had a few offers before this one, but FIBA moves so fast. It's like you get the offer and then it's gone. And so finally this one stuck, and I got the offer, and maybe like not even 24 hours later I told my agent, let's sign with them, and the rest is history.
How's your German?
I'm on unit 2 on Duolingo, so it's getting better. Um, Not great. Probably couldn't get around by myself, but I have time to learn.
When do you head overseas?
Um, Unofficially, August 28th. That's not set in stone, so it could change, but for right now, that's the date we're looking at.
Do you know? Because I don't know. Do you know how long the season is? How long it lasts over
Yeah,
there in that league?
so we'll start our first practice is September 1st, and then in the contract, it's the regular season is to March 31st, and then if we continue to postseason, it's however many days we're in postseason pretty much after that.
I was surprised when you mentioned that you had not thought about pursuing pro basketball until October, basically.
Hmm.
So
Yeah.
what's your plan? How long do you hope to play pro ball? And then what's for you after your pro hoop career?
So I want to play as long as my body lets me play. I think with the opportunities that I have and the abilities that I have, I want to play as long as I can because I'm 22 years old and I get to travel around the world to play basketball. Like, I genuinely don't think it gets much better than that at that point, but you know, who knows what's coming, but I want to play as long as I can. And then after the fact, you know, I guess it just depends on the age in which, you know, I stop playing, but I know that I want to work in professional sports. I've thought about player engagement, or community relations, that kind of avenue. But, you know, now that I'm going to Germany, so a few weeks ago, I was interning with the Tennessee Titans, in Tennessee. So I worked their OTAs and mini camp with them. And that was kind of my first exposure to a lot of the roles that I, you know, just said to you.
Mhm.
But, working with them has been so great. It's been such an eye opening experience, especially because I don't really have any background in football. So, you know, watching how they operate is just so different from basketball. Um, but they have international ties over there. And so I'm definitely going to make it a point to, you know, actively be on the lookout and, you know, get experience where I can, when I can. Um, Flag football is becoming super big internationally.
Mhm.
Um, and there's just so many opportunities that people have come to me with internationally that are in Germany or somewhere else. So there's going to be something. And then I've been sitting on the thought that I want to get my PhD just for fun. I don't, you know, why not? I'm not doing anything else with basketball, so definitely probably will be continuing my education too.
Another example of you being a Rice grad. My
Oh,
PhD
for
just
sure.
for fun. Just for fun. Yeah.
For sure.
This is a random question.
Hmm.
Your mom was a very good hooper.
She was.
How old were you when you were able to beat her in basketball?
Honestly, we've never played each
Really?
other. Yeah, I I would say probably early on in my age, I was able to probably beat her. But you know, we'll play around in the gym, and she was a shooter. I wasn't a shooter to begin with, so if it's any type of shooting competition, somehow she still manages to beat me. But that's okay. It's fine.
Malia Fisher. Oh, well, please do me this favor, honor. Keep me informed of your overseas
Oh, for
hooping.
sure.
And also, I mean, you're a Rice alum, so also keep them informed of your. I hope they have more and more people, players, to
Hmm.
have Rice alums overseas
Yes,
and share that stuff on the website. So do that for both of us.
for sure.
You have any inkling, insight of how the 25, 26 Rice Owls team is going to look?
I think they're going to be really good. I think they're going to sneak up on people just because we lost five seniors, which was a large part of our, um, you know, statistic categories. But I think they're bringing in a lot of good pieces, and you know, just judging by what I've heard on what was happening in Europe when they went to play their trip and play their games, that I think they'll surprise a lot of people.
Yeah, I heard from another coaching friend of mine mentioned to me that they were told, yeah, Rice is going to surprise some people this year. They look good overseas. And I was like,
Hmm.
oh, okay, well, good. I look
Yep.
forward to that. Malia, thank you very much for taking
For sure.
time to do this. I wish you good luck, and I have no doubt that you're going to be successful in anything you put your mind to.
Thank you
Anything
very
you want to
much.
say in closing?
Just, I don't know. Everybody needs to keep up because there's going to be some big things happening for sure.
Malia, you take care and keep in touch.
I definitely will.
Bye bye.
Bye.